Today I picked up the phone to call my friend to talk about some sports. And then I realized that there was nobody to make a phone call to. There was no person to send a text message to or even laugh about the sports that happened. My friend lost his battle to depression. And that day, he wasn't the only one who lost, because I lost a part of myself. If you are thinking of harming yourself, if you are going through some type of mental disability or some type of mental illness, maybe the world just seems too heavy for you. Maybe it's bullying. Maybe you are having challenges with identifying with your sexual orientation. Maybe, just maybe, that this life feels like it's not worth it. You are wrong. Everything about you says the opposite. Everything about you that you think you knew that you don't understand tells me that you are great. You are worthy. This world is not better without you. When you make a decision like the one that's on the screen, you don't just affect yourself, you affect so many others. So before you do that, please reach out and get help. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. It don't take much for you to be a hero when you can find your own courage. And if for some reason, some odd, strange reason, you just can't find the strength to call that number, please reach out to me. I will respond to you. I will fight this battle with you. I will be the voice that you need and the ear that you need to speak out. Now, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk some football. What up, though, Pride Nation? Welcome back to another Field Review podcast show. And if you are paying attention, then you know what it is. You know I am not by myself. You know I got a guest. And you know, and I do mean you know, that it's about to go down today. We're going to have us some fun because we got to talk about some Detroit Lions football. And the worst thing that could have happened to any of you is to have two people who think outside the damn box. This is where things get real for you. So let me put the disclaimer out there for you right now. If you are one of them people who just love following the same generic narrative, this may not be the show for you. If you are one of those people who is looking for some watered down opinions or is just something to come your way that's based on headlines because you were too lazy to read the entire article, this ain't the show for you. But if you're ready to talk some real Detroit Lions football and get it at the most highest dosage of realness that you can get it, that red pill love, I'm talking about hopium on top of Kool-Aid mixed with a little bit of reality, then this is the show for you. Because I have a guest today. That's right, people. You've asked for it. He's asked for it. I've asked for it. And it's come true. We have made this thing work. Now, I got a guest, and I don't know if he noticed or not, but he's muted. Unmute yourself, sir, because introduce yourself, because I brought in Avery Giavonni, Spirit of Detroit podcast. What up, though? What's going on, man? Hey, let's get it, man. Having some fun. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Listen. So
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you, man.
Man, listen, we finna talk some serious football. I know this is not gonna be for everybody. I know it. But we're gonna make it interesting. We're gonna do our best to make it interesting. Let me go through and hit the roll call really quick, and then I'll tell y'all what we're gonna talk about. We got Delusional Lion fan in the building, AB Omar. I can't never pronounce his last name. I apologize. JGB, Aaron Burton.
What I've been waiting for. Wow.
I'm telling you, right? We got Jimbo G, Carl Campbell, Chris Watts. We got JGB in the building. Blue J Sarge, hard work and dedication. And if you are in here and you want the shout out, please just drop the like. We got Lions Lee in the building. And to all the Lions fans who are going to come in on my replay gang, appreciate you so much. All right, let's talk about some of the things we're going to be hitting on, people. Stuff finna get real. We obviously got to talk about the fan mentality, because if it's one thing I have to point out, is ways to get the fan base to pay attention. And sometimes there's a difference in mentalities. We got to talk about that. We got to talk about who Dan Campbell truly reminds us of as a coach. We got to talk about this 3-year rebuild process, because you know that's a thing. So Pacheco, that's it. Damn it, I suck. Now you got me feeling bad, Omar. Don't do me like that. Pacheco, I would have never got that. I'm sorry. I suck at names. You know this. We got to talk about what other teams compare to the Lions. We got to talk about Pro Football Focus. They insist on trying me. I don't know why. We got to talk about our defensive coordinator. I also got to talk about media's outlook on the Lions and Drake Bell's most recent prediction for the Lions season. That and much more on top of your questions is what we're going to do today on the show. And we finna get this thing started with the top question coming out the gate because it needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
The fan mentality. Oh my God. Let's get into this, Avery. Why can't we be the same old Lions fans?
Just want to say it's an honor to be here, man.
Appreciate it.
Say that, man. This is awesome.
Appreciate it, man.
Long time watcher, man. Going back like 4 or 5 years, long time watcher. Well, you can't be the same fan for one reason for sure, is that the team is evolving. Ownership has evolved, like you said. Sheila's evolved. Sheila's elevated this, Happy birthday.
I know, right? You saw it. Did you see it? Look,
yeah.
Listen. Let me slow it down because I got to do it right. I got to do it right. Blue Jay Sar says it's 21st. So if y'all don't know, there are certain birthdays where they have a significance. Generally, for a guy, it's 21. Right? It's 21. And on the 21st birthday, a lot of great things happen. Let me see. What can you do on 21? You can drink. That's the first and most important thing, right? You can certainly do that. What else can you do?
Yeah,
you can I mean, is it anything you can't do after you hit 21? Now that I think about it, first of all, people, Pride Nation, y'all listen, we gonna have to show our roar and get it as loud as possible. Can we please give this beautiful person a happy birthday wish? Because if we can't do anything else, we can at least show up in force and let the roar be heard loud and clear with a happy birthday to Mr. Blue Jay Sarge. Sir, to you, I salute to you. I hope that if you do decide to drink, you do it responsibly, because I do want to hear from you, not about you, okay? Also, please, I have to say this again, please, make sure that if you are going to go out and have a little fun and you're going to drink, just don't drive. I got some horror stories you don't want to be a part of, trust me. But off top of that, happy birthday, sir. Happy 21st. I prayed that you get to see 121. And then at that point, you rock out like any rock star and go on to that beautiful place. Now, had to do that and get that out of the way because I believe in celebrating people. But
that allowed me to decompress and come back down to earth. That allowed me to.
Listen, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. 100%. It's frustrating. But tell them. I mean, let's talk about this fan mentality, because if you pay attention to most of these videos, there's always the negative group, the over optimistic group, and then there's the pessimistic group. But why can't we be the same old Lions fans?
I think we need to understand the process. I think Lions fans inherently feel like they owed something, and there's nothing wrong with that to me, because you had a owner, you built a stadium, you had a fire milling for 7 years, you had all these occurrences that you've dealt with. 0-16, that's only happened twice, in sports, and could have happened with the 2008 Miami Dolphins, didn't happen. So you had fans begging for so long just to repeat 1991, just to feel that again. And then there's fans that haven't felt 1991. They just see highlight reels of Barry Sanders and the greatness that was. And they think about 2011 and all the lost teams that we had in that time, so they're eager. First, it starts as this eagerness, this anxiousness. That's what it starts as. And then after these reoccurring rebuilds, it starts being pessimism, because you keep going to the same place and you're doing the same thing every 3 years. You're rebuilding, and so it's breeded out of positivity to get over the hump, and then it comes to this point where it's almost like withdrawal from being a winner, and it's negative. It's too negative. We have the overzealous Lions fan that I'm gonna look at the skies and I'm gonna and you can't tell him nothing. And you have the overly pessimistic. Me and my father were the same way. Like my dad was really pessimistic about the Lions. You know, I don't know if this is a child's channel. I can't say what.
We're gonna keep it a little bit clean, just a little bit.
Yeah, but he would just say those. You know, it was just his like a Sanford and Son. And I bought season tickets. You big dummy! I could have told you what to do.
100%. So,
I was the overly optimistic guy at one time in my life. That was around 2011, 2000, Jim Schwartz era. When we
14.
When we was going up against 14 was a good year. We was going up against Seattle and the handshake. I was entirely with him. He didn't shake his hand.
Right.
He didn't shake his hand. I was there.
Right.
And you don't realize you have a problem. You don't realize you have an issue until, it starts becoming a recurring feeling. Like my girlfriend tells me a lot of times, like in December, why are you mad that they won the game? That's when you start thinking. You sick.
Right.
Sick. So out of being sick, this is what happens to us. We become non-appreciative of star players, impactful players. We disregard injured players. Oh, you can't stay healthy, as if the other team is not getting paid too. You run stars into the ground. That's stuff that happened to Calvin Johnson, even now, playing with concussions and having to smoke weed after every game, and just running him into the ground, running Barry into the ground. And then y'all say at the end of the day when they retire, they quit on the team. Like, what are you talking about? This is a person. And we have people like garbage men. We got people like paperwork, paper pushers, maybe human resources, soldiers, Army soldiers, military veterans who always work until the bone for actual real reasons for their family. And football is paying you $1 million+ dollars. Like the Kenny Golladay situation is a perfect example of what I'm about to talk about. Kenny Golladay probably wants a brand, a market, and probably wants to break out of football have a life after football.
Right.
So it wasn't the place to establish that. Even Sue knew that. Sue had a deal with Chrysler and everything. Even Sue was like, look, I can only go so far here, just like Lomas Brown. And we look at Lomas Brown like, why aren't you a Hall of Famer? What do you mean? He didn't have that aftermarket value. Barry, they can't deny Barry.
But if you look at it, let's look at it a little bit more perspective based. And what I mean by that is this: when I look at the same old Lion fan perspective, and I look at how these Lion fan mentality come out, it's usually trauma induced. And it's so when you have trauma that's been hit for some of these people where they don't know how to deal with the trauma. Yeah. They don't realize that there's other options, like liking another team or not rooting for them. Yeah. But what I realized with the same old Lion fan is they'll ask for something year in, year out, get what they ask for, and then complain about what they asked for. Like they'll say, "Hey, let me get a Big Mac," but then be like, "Man, it was too much bread." You asked for it. Don't get sad about it now. It's here. And so one of the things that I realized when it comes to this mentality. That's always seems to be a interesting point for me is the fact that the Lions fan base seem to be the most misinformed. And so I love the term that you used about what evolved, right? We don't even got to say the word what got better, but did it evolve? Did it change in some sorts, right? Like people don't understand how a butterfly became a butterfly. There are stages to that level, right? Mm-hmm. The same old Lion fan has those same stages. It's just that they're still stuck in the cocoon. So every time a headline comes out, they get excited, right? And they go, "Oh, well, this is what it is." But the reality is we as a fan base have been saying, get rid of Stafford, because when you get rid of Stafford, guess what? We're going to get better. Then we get rid of Stafford, and now it's like, oh my God, Jared Goff, he sucks, and he's not going to be good, and he can't do this, and he can't do that. But before then, it was, man, we need to get Jared Goff, because look, he got his team to a Super Bowl. And so I'm trying to figure out this fan base.
Yeah, it's I I think also we're toxic to one another.
That's a huge problem. The whole reason Detroit.Sports.Alliance was created was to bring the Detroit sports YouTubers to one table, to where there's a constant flow of all of the YouTubers and people who love this city, love the city's teams to talk. That went left so bad. So bad. So you're 100% right in this toxic behavior of going against one Lion fan to a next. But just in terms of that part of it, it's shocking to me that we always say the same old Lions, but now we're going to get coined with a new term, same old Lions fans, and it's crazy. Now this is the question.
Thank you, Jimbo G, for the subscription.
100%, man. Make sure y'all show support. It is linked in the description. So if you just drop that box down, you'll see all the links in there. You'll also see my featured channels on there as well. So since he's a guest, you'll see it under guest listed along and get the link directly to his channel. Then you'll see all the featured channels, and then you also see the DSA members links as well. So I pretty much loaded up my description box. You're going to be able to find something if you ain't got it here.
One thing I will say is Lions fans actually want to be told what's going on. That's cool to me because.
Well, yeah, that's a good start.
Matt Patricia. Oh, my bad if I cut you off.
No. I'm saying that's a good start. You're right. They do want to be told.
Matt Patricia came in, and I think Matt Patricia didn't acknowledge that. Yeah, I got to tear down the 4-3. I got to tear down this cover 2 shell under. I have to tear down this type of defense in order to install a 3-4 attacking blitz defense. He didn't tell people that, I got to rebuild the defense in order to work the defense. He came in here with the idea that he was going to have a rebuild. He was brought in here to give us to the next level. You understand what I'm saying?
No, 100%. That's why 9-7 wasn't good enough. 9-7 was the standard.
Right. And Lions fans, most importantly, are okay with the rebuild as long as it's being told, as long as it's being like this is what we're doing. We're rebuilding. People will go to the fan. I think people will put their butts in the seats just to be a part of the process. If they had a start the process or let's continue the process like the Buffalo Bills do, they have a whole process. And they talked about trust the process. You know what I'm saying? They have this genre, this mantra rather. And when they had this mantra, I'm like, wow, this is dope. This is dope. They're really embracing this. Detroit Lions fans, we want a process. We want to know that you have a plan to go in. Okay. When you buy a car, you have a plan. You got to get your check stubs. You got to get this. You got to get that. You purchase a vehicle. You know what I'm saying? When you go to work, you got a plan. You got to every person in Detroit has a plan about everything they do. School, this, that, and the third. The thing about it is we just want to know that someone has a plan, not just Sheila Ford. Just, oh, well, I think I'm going to hire somebody else to figure out this coaching thing. Like that would, like what? So Lions fans are realists, but unfortunately, sometimes it goes left or right,
I'm surprised you wasn't a fan of Dagger Time. I mean, you wasn't a fan of Dagger Time? You remember that? It's Dagger Time. It's Dagger. That mantra is Dagger Time. Remember that? Matt Patricia. Yeah. No, listen. What is that? He rolled that out. He rolled out the mantra of it's Dagger Time his last season.
Who did that?
Matt Patricia.
Loser. It's funny. We're gonna laugh today.
He said loser. Yeah.
Look, this cracked me up, man. I know you want to get in the next topic and everything, but this cracked me up. You can be a Lions head coach with a pencil in your head and a laminated sheet. Where's your paper at? You can be mean, angry. You can be all that. You can be all that if you winning. If you winning, you can be late to meetings.
Facts.
Right. You earn the right to do that. Bill Belichick earned the right to do all that stuff. That's why if he did it, it would be no problem. This clown did it and was losing with a straight face. Losing with a straight face.
Yeah, chewing his lip up, like He was the most frustrating hire, I think, in years. I think of all the years that you look at the Detroit Lions coaches, he had to be the absolute most frustrating because there was things that he, believe it or not, if he would have just did the most simplest thing of putting the best players on the field, we probably not even having this conversation. When he benched Glover Quin, for Tavon Wilson, I was like, nope.
And you messing with the OGs. There's a hierarchy in the locker room. There's a hierarchy. We have to understand that when a person gets here, there's people in place that you can go to before you go to the assistant head coach or the, you know what I'm saying? You got Glover Quin here. You got Slay here. These are OGs. These are people who've proven that they're leaders on the team. Even if they're not leaders for real, they have like a certain respect. You know what I'm saying? You don't alienate the OGs. You know, what do you do? You put, so you're going to put a cover 2 safety out there on a whole island. And you're going to call that all day. And then you're going to get mad when he get blown.
I'm sorry. He said I was a fan of Dagger Time until I realized we were stabbing ourselves after week 1. Comment of the day. That's got to be comment of the day. He said I was a fan of it until I realized what was happening. Listen, it is what it is. Let's see. Armac says Marinelli, Morning Wig, and then Patricia. No, I think Patricia's even worse than Marinelli. Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna tell you why. With Marinelli didn't lose his veterans. He just came to a team and was trying to do things different and get it going. And this guy came in and basically made people leave. Like people just was like, "Nah, I'm not coming here." You have free agents who were getting asked questions about, hey, you know, how are you feeling about your chances of you going to the 49ers? You know, I know where I'm not going. I'm not going to Detroit. You know what I mean? Like he had created such a horrible atmosphere that the word had got out that people didn't want to do it. So that's one of the things that I look at. Technical Puma says, but why is the fan base toxic? They weren't born being unhappy with the Lions. The fan base is toxic because of this, and I'll tell you why. The fan base is toxic because they don't know they haven't learned how to compartmentalize their trauma. They haven't. And if you think it's bad, we're not even like in terms of all sports, man. It's been some franchises that went decades, centuries, and so forth that didn't win. But the toxic part of it comes. See, it's one thing being a bad fan. The toxic part comes when you don't even respect your fellow fan. You don't even you can't praise with your fellow fan. You don't know how to support your fellow fan, or a person acts embarrassed about being a fan with them. And that's where I start to look at it and think that's where it becomes toxic. Where do you think it becomes toxic?
I think Tactile Puma's right. I gotta, be more like assertive with the point. So we chaotic when players leave. I don't like that. We disregard injured players. If you injured or you get injured multiple times, we just talk to you like you ain't nothing at all. We had these delusions of grandeur, which are the most extreme to the lowest extreme, which is Super Bowl 0-16, and then they go 0-16, and we selling out the game. How's we selling out the second to last game 0-16? All games blacked out all year. No one can explain that to me, man. The fans also embrace going at each other. I think they should get this guy. No, they should get this guy. No, they going at each other in a negative way. I think toxic is overused in the world, in the community. We need to have a healthy relationship with our team. And I think the model for that is, look, a lot of Lions fans believe that, people are just going down there buying $8 beers, buying $100 tickets, and nobody cares. The owner didn't care. Matt Millen didn't care. They didn't put a winning product out. But they had years where they put a winning product out, and then they didn't build on that winning product. You can't.
My God! Say it again. Say it again.
They had years.
How many years? Yeah. How many years? How many years? If you go through and look at the Lions, where they were on the cusp of doing it, and they could never capitalize on the cusp. They would be right there, and would turn ship every single time. It never failed.
From 1991 to 1995, they had winning seasons, and they could have got in the playoffs, or they got in the playoffs and was an early round exit. And I think most Detroit fans will be satisfied with that. And then you had 2011, 2014, 2016. You had like Caldwell one that had 3 winning seasons. And we still was like, okay, this winning thing is cool, but what's going on, Caldwell? And that's, that's when I started getting like, okay, Stafford brought us back 7 games. We're depending on Stafford way too much. The next year we go 4-12. The next year we go. Y'all didn't see these problems that y'all had when y'all was, doing all this stuff. When y'all was going 11-5 and y'all got blown out by the Saints. We didn't see. An example of toxic would be booing game 1 of the preseasons. Wow, exactly.
Listen, I left it up there because the truth hurts. But let me switch gears, man. I don't want to kill the fans too long, but let me switch gears because you dropped a video, and I don't want to give all the details to the video, but it was very telling. And I was like, oh damn, he got me thinking now. And I had to go back and look at some things. I still had an opinion. Okay. I don't know, but I was like, oh, I'm like, he got me thinking though. So that brings us to our next question. Because we're talking about this head coach. We're talking about the Lions, obviously. Yeah. Who does Dan Campbell? Dan Campbell right now. Like, who's the best comparison for him in terms of coaches? Now, you had a video.
Yeah.
I want to emphasize this. I want people to understand this.
I thought I was crazy, too.
It's a video you want to see, but I thought it was intriguing. Who does he best compare to? As an NFL head coach?
Philosophy-wise, he compares to Bill Parcells. And I stand behind that. I stand behind that like Coca-Cola. Okay? If you ever see American Gangster, I stand behind
right. And I stand behind that product.
So I look at Dan Campbell as a curator. Dan Campbell is not a coordinator. Everybody wants him to be this coordinator. He want him to call plays on the sideline. That's not him. That's not the dude. I think he's a true head coach in that sense that he will handle all the oversight of everything going on. Media, defense, offense, special teams. He will handle the oversight. He will need to step in, but he'll let his coordinators be coordinators. He'll let them coach. Bill Parcells did the same thing. You think I'm crazy? I got notes here, so I'm ready to go at the fans if I have to. Bill Parcells used motivation to get the most out of players. In his documentary, he said, I want players to play to the potential I see them as. This could be best exemplified in 2003 when he took over the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys was like 3-13 the year before. He did practically nothing coordinator-wise. He even said, okay, they have a 4-3 defense. He historically run the 3-4. He said, look, I don't like this defense. I don't like these small linebackers, but the coordinator says they can work with this. Okay, let's just get them to play fast, play simple, and let's get A.O. Adele in there. Let's get some different dudes in there that can really contribute to a culture shift. And that's all he cares about. Every team he's took over, 5 teams, the Jets, the Giants, the Dallas Cowboys, the Miami, when he was a GM, acting like a GM, he always did this thing where he just influenced philosophy. And then he brought in coordinators like Sean Payton. He brought in coordinators that he could just let coordinate, and he'll just institute his beliefs. The next thing he did was he motivated his players. If he had to be upfront with his players, he had to be upfront. If a guy was 8 years in and couldn't go no more, he was going to have that conversation. If a guy was getting his tail whipped and he just signed a $40 million contract, what are you doing? You have to realize that certain players who were coached by certain people take on the attitude of their coach. Dan Campbell was coached by Bill Parcells. He came over in 2003. He was a captain for Bill Parcells on that team, became a leader on that team, was with that team for 3 years. He was a field general, like this guy said. Bill Parcells has always been a spectacle to the media. Wasn't a signal caller, but he was eager to develop coaches. Again, Dan Campbell. It goes back to Dan Campbell. He wants all his coaches to get head coaching jobs. He talked about
That's facts, and it's a fact that scares me because I think I've talked about this before on one of my videos where I said this is going to be the first time that we're going to lose some coaches. This hasn't happened in a long time. So, but you're right about that. He does want it, and it's funny because when I think about the comparisons of Bill Parcells, I really dug deep, and I'm like, I can see where he's going with this. Now, I kind of took a different turn. A little bit of a different turn because when I looked at it, I was like, I think Dan Campbell best compares to Dan Campbell. He's reinventing how to go about being the players coach, right? Like I remember when Pete Carroll got to Seattle, Pete Carroll was like running up and down the sidelines. Anything they ran, he ran with them. You know, they weightlift, he weightlift with them, and he was getting up doing that before they even got to the facility and still did it.
70 years old.
That dude, that unbelievable, right?
Yeah.
So I see those pieces, and I'm like, okay, let's just look at it. Mm-hmm. He does find a way to just hit home certain points, and it's not about him. It's about the team. It's about everything else. And I love how everyone from top to bottom is so protective of each other. You got Brad Holmes, who's irritated with the media's approach to Dan Campbell, and you have the owner who's you know covering the back of Brad Holmes, and so it just keeps trickling down. But nobody is listening to the players. Nobody is listening to Jamal Williams and what he's talking about. They're not listening to what people who don't even play for the team is talking about, like George Kittle. Nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to hear how people are excited. They don't want to hear when Barry Sanders says certain things. But you know, I guess it just depends on who's the person delivering the message. But when I look at Dan Campbell, I was like, yo, he Dan Campbell. There is no comparisons. He's gonna be the one getting compared to. All the antics and all the stuff that he's doing is things that players can look at and have fun with and respect. And so that's how I see it in terms of his comparisons. I do like the Bill Parcells because the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, he owned something. But I feel like for Dan Campbell's sake and for the Lions' sake, we want to do things the Lions way. And he's creating the Lions way. He's creating the face of the franchise should be me, the head coach.
Yes, I think that's a good thing though, because for a while it was Stafford. And old man Stafford is not like old man Logan. Y'all keep thinking it's old man Logan is old man Stafford, and that's not true. Okay, he doesn't have the regeneration ability. He doesn't have all that stuff. I think the program needed to get rid of Stafford so this could happen, because I don't think his way would have rejuvenated Stafford. Stafford would have still had that stink on him. And historically, Bill Parcells, when he took over the Patriots, when he took over a bunch of teams, he had to get rid of those people with that stink on them. He had to get rid of this losing culture and make it kind of about him and shield his players. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that's what Campbell's doing in 2021 version. Campbell is doing more motivation, more positivity, more love, but he's doing a lot of the antics that we seen in 2003, a lot of the antics that we seen in 1989. He's doing those same antics, just in a new, revitalized way, in a Campbell way.
Did I say Kittle again? George Kittle, damn it. I mean, listen, and I'm picking up what you're putting down. I think that the reality of what should be the standard is not what it is. Like I had this conversation with a friend of mine, and he was telling me how, like, I said, hey, who's the face of the franchise for the Steelers? And he was like, it's Mike Tomlin. And I was like, really? He said, I said, not Big Ben. He said, Big Ben. He said, Big Ben could have never been the face of the franchise. I said, why not? He said, because when everything falls apart and he gets hurt, and he will, it's going to be Tomlin who has to be the one to keep it afloat. I said, okay. He said, so then I go to another friend. He a Cowboy fan. And I said, hey, who's the face of the franchise? And he said, me?
Yeah, you breaking up. I don't know what does that mean.
I don't know. I sound clear, but let me if it is still breaking up, let me know. It could be a connection issue. I don't know. I'm directly connected though, so I'm just putting it out there. I got the Ethernet cord in.
I pay bills too, man.
I'm just saying. But I'm saying, like, when you look at it, you look at most of these notoriety franchises. The face of their franchise are not mostly players. Like everybody wants to talk about how Tom Brady was the face of the Patriots, but I'm like, it's Bill Belichick. That's why there's all this talk about what is Bill Belichick going to do. And I said, when you go through and you look at the Buccaneers, I said, everybody's going to say, oh, it's Tom Brady. It's Tom Brady. I said, yeah, that's a typical fan's approach. But the reality is that the face should be your coach. It should be those guys in charge of putting you in position to succeed. And if those guys are not doing that, we got problems. Like I said, we don't already rolled enough people to the dirt and back. We got to do something different. We just have to.
Yeah.
Now, we got to talk about this thing called the 3-year rebuild.
Tyrell Austin would have been a great head coach, by the way.
Who?
That's a great comment. Tyrell Austin.
Man, they never gave him a shot, but he would have. I had faith in him. They never gave him a shot.
Yeah.
So, we got to talk about this thing. What does a 3-year rebuild look like? Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the team that comes to mind is 2017 Browns. See, a 3-year rebuild for me is really 5 years. And I'm going to break this down because I know I sound crazy. I know I'm going to give y'all the Avery Giavonni way. I'm insane. I'm stupid. I know. 3-year rebuild. First, you got to hit rock bottom. Okay. First, you have to admit you have a problem. Okay. Y'all didn't see 0-16 coming. Y'all didn't see that. Mike Martz they're just 7-9. They're going to win. 0-16 came the next year. You got to know. You know what I'm saying? You got to realize you have a problem. And then from there, you got to build. So 0-16 came for the Browns in 2016. The next thing was, let's get this front office. Let's get a new regime in here. That's when we realized, let's get a new regime in here. They hired John Dorsey, who's also in our camp, who's just born to be real team rebuild, right? Then they realized, well, John Dorsey likes this head coach, but his head coach is not getting it done. He's passing too much. He's doing too many exotic plays. 2018, they got a draft. Very good draft, might I add, but they had to fire Hugh Jackson. They just had to. They had to realize, he ain't the guy. You know what I'm saying? So the new blood had to subtract the old blood. That's another year. And then you had to find that person, that Kevin Stefanski. You had to find that person that can carry you over. So 3 years is really 4, for real. And they executed it great. First and foremost, you gotta like say Kevin Stefanski was not a name on everybody's list. He was not the guy, but he was a guy who was willing to play a run style all the time, have a running game, and be dedicated to playing good defense. That's literally what we are. That's literally our whole new brand is run the ball, play good defense.
Now, let me ask you this. You this. Because I have become team. Can we start with 3 year? Right? Like I'm past the 3 year, but I like your choice of the Browns because I may be wrong about this, but didn't they hire a head coach and fire that head coach the next year? Yeah,
they had an interim takeover. They had an interim takeover in 2019 by the name of Freddie Kitchen. He had covered down on 2018. So when Hugh Jackson got fired, Freddie Kitchen was the guy, they let Greg Williams. They let Greg Williams just be a defensive coordinator. They let Freddie Kitchen be the guy. Freddie Kitchen, his game plan was just let's just run the ball, blah blah blah. They went on like a almost historic run, and they started really creating something. That next year, Freddie Kitchens was just passing endlessly, passing the ball. And they had to get rid of him. They had to get back to the core things that actually they won with. And all the while, they were looking for a new head coach the whole time. You understand what I'm saying? Like you ever get an interim like the last one we had, Bevel, and you still looking for a head coach? You know what I'm saying?
But see, my point was this. Yeah. The 3 year thing what comes to mind of me because I remember after that first season with Patricia, I was like, it's time for him to go. Like I was like, he gotta go. I was done with him after that first season. After that first year, I was done because I saw things in his coaching that led me down a road to say that's not going to work. That's never going to work.
What did you see? I'm curious because
the first thing that stood out to me was it wasn't about putting the best players on the field. It was about putting players that you knew on the field. So, like, essentially, let's say, for example, like right now, let's say you got a chance to start your own NFL team, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to allow you to take any 5 players from any team. Mm-hmm. Now, you decide that, okay, I can take any 5 players, but you really good friends with like Byron Leftwich. And even though he's not a quarterback no more, you just like, I want him to be the quarterback. Why? Why are you doing this? Go and get the best players and put them on the field. Mm-hmm. The second thing that I saw that I knew wasn't going to work was how the flow of the game was going. There were game time situations, i.e. against the Bears, where the Bears
pick that up.
The Bears went for 2, and I'm like, oh, they effed up. They went for 2. They didn't get it. We score, and he goes for 2. And I'm like, what are you doing? We're up.
Or there's 5 minutes left in the game. They down 10 points. All you got to do is run the ball. You run the ball,
right?
Speed up the clock, and you're done.
Or this is my favorite. This is my favorite. This is my favorite right here. The other thing that he did this really pissed me off. The other thing that he did was I watched him change the defense in real time against the Cardinals, which caused them to get that tie. And I'm saying to myself, like, yo, you should have stumped them out in a big way. It was just further proof. Now, I know that wasn't in the first year, but I'm just saying that was another indicator that to me that said you can't have it. The ultimate killer, though.
Yeah.
The ultimate killer was his coaching staff. When they named Paul Pasqualoni, his coaching staff, when he named Paul Pasqualoni the defensive coordinator, I was like, who?
That was Pasqualoni. Been around the league for years. He's been with the New England Patriots. He's been around. But
to name him, and then he was like, I'm gonna keep Jim Bob Cooters. I'm like, I get it because you didn't have time to have an offseason. Y'all went to the Super Bowl. I totally get the Jim Bob Cooter. I like the fact that he brought in Darrell Bell, but then I started looking at those other positional coaches, and then I started saying like, oh, okay, and then I started looking at like, well, what is he gonna do when things get rough? And when they got rough, he wasn't even over there trying to talk to the players. He wasn't trying to figure out what was going on. I started hearing rumors from former players saying things like, oh, we would try to tell him what we see on the field, and he wasn't trying to hear it.
Right.
And so those things led me to believe that it was time for him to go.
And that's not a Bill Belichick trait either.
Well, listen, he was in panic mode. He was in panic mode.
Lawrence Taylor used to talk to Bill Belichick about what they were doing on the field and how we would need to change. And Bill Belichick, this is like 1980, 1988, 1989. They added sound effects. Like they're not doing it. They're not doing it. What you said. Okay, here's what we need to do. We need to do like this. Okay, we need to change the whole game plan by halftime. And then, now Belichick has that coin, like he can change the game plan by halftime.
Right.
He's listening to the players, keeping his ear to the streets. See, Patricia thought he was a real genius.
Right. The whole rocket science thing went through his head, and so that's why when I look at this 3-year bill, and I gotta be honest, what a 3-year bill looks like to me is what the Dallas Cowboys did with Jimmy Johnson. Now I love your point on what the Browns did because it is beautiful, but what the Cowboys did to me was the ultimate 3-year bill.
I take that because I did a video on the Cowboys like around the draft time when people was talking about drafting Jamar Chase. It was called Part of a Weapon, and it was like a vid I was doing like, okay, if y'all want this receiver, because I hear this fan base talking about a receiver.
I don't know why.
We're gonna have. I don't know why they don't.
They love receivers. But listen, this fan. If you were to put up a matter of fact, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put that as a community post. If you were to put up that says, option A, what are you? Breast man. Option B, butt man. Option C, wide receiver fan. I guarantee you the receiver will win. Like this fan base loves wide receivers, and I don't get it. But yeah, I saw your video talking about that too, and I was like, yeah, I didn't. I just didn't
been watching.
Listen. I've been paying attention. I keep an eye out to make sure that I see what I see, and then I jump in to kind of get everything popping because I gotta see. Because sometimes I'd be like, sometimes people can strike lightning in the bottle once, right?
Oh,
but
wow.
you was on it. I was like, it's out of the box. I like the out of the box thinking and where you was going with it. So I was like, all right, cool. And then the other part that I was saying is when you brought the point about if you're going to go out and get a guy like Jamar Chase, and you were saying how what they did with Michael Irvin, but that brings me back to Jimmy Johnson. And what Jimmy Johnson did was Jimmy Johnson came in and said, who's my best player? And it was like Herschel Walker. He was like, good, we're trading him. and fans and the owner was like, you doing what? He's like, we're trading him. And they took all this draft capital and they went out, got an Emmitt Smith, got Michael Irvin. They just and then he said, okay, I got foundational pieces. I got late linemen. He took a lot of offensive linemen between that period too.
And a big thing about that, I want to piggyback on that. I'm flattered you've been watching me that long. Like, dang, okay, like
yeah, I've been my eyes is open. I pays attention.
One of your subscribers had a message in here saying, "Yeah, I've been watching you. I just haven't subscribed yet." So I was like, "There he is, Jimbo." Like, you been watching? Okay, I knew it was I was doing that anyway. So 2017, you got Myles Garrett, Jabril Peppers, David Njoku, Larry Ojukwu, which was like a left guard. 2018, Baker Mayfield, Nick Chubb, Denzel Ward, Antonio Callaway, which was a deep threat for them, but he got in some little legal trouble and was smoking that weed, so they had to get rid of him like last year. But Antonio Callaway was going off, especially before Beckham Jr. came. 2019, Greedy Williams, Mac Wilson, Mike Takiti, which was a special teams player. You got to hit on at least 4 or 5 players every draft. If they're not valuable in terms of immediate starter, they got to be valuable on special teams. Every year they had 4 or 5 players that was playing significant time and doing what they needed to do. Myles Garrett, Jabril Peppers, they got rid of him in 2018. They realized, look, we got an in-the-box safety. They run a 4-2-5 mostly. Like, that's one of their base defenses. Right. And they're like, hey, you know what? We run this 4-2-5. We need faster safeties. I don't know what's going on. He's getting beat. We need faster DBs back there. So they had to get rid of him because he was a natural in-the-box safety who hit and hit and hit. And that's what they was not trying to do. They was trying to go against everybody and be a no-fly zone. And they had to get Del Pitt into 2020, and you finally saw the fruits of what they got. And even though Del Pitt didn't play in significant action, all the players that they got in the later rounds contributed significantly to their 2020 11-5 season, beating the Steelers. Everybody was locked in, zoned in, ready to beat the Steelers. I had no confidence that the Steelers would win. I had no confidence. Monday night, man, come on now.
Listen, I'll tell you like this, I'll tell you like this. When you go through and you break down the history, I always tell people, because people say, well, what does 91 got to do with this year? I'm like, everything. Because those who don't pay attention will repeat the history. And I say, I'm telling you, when you look at that team that went 12-4 with a backup quarterback who sucked.
I've been hearing you say this for like 2-3 weeks now.
I've been sitting there. That 91 is, but it's not even with just that sport. I remember even when we do our basketball show, I always tell people, like, if the Pistons want to get back to being great, all they have to do is look at their history. When they were the bad boys, they didn't go out and get a bunch of superstars. They got a collection of guys that can play together as a team. When they won in 2004, they did the same thing. The Lions, every time they have had success, have had a player coach. And every time they've had any real thing, they've had a collective group of guys who can come together as a team. Yeah. And so that's where we did it. Like you said earlier, when it says, speaking of which, anyone seen Greedy Williams yet? Nope. I did a whole video on that, and I got my butt chewed out for saying I ain't no football, but I looks like I'm still right. See, my stuff aged well.
Got hurt this year. He played 6 games his rookie year. He got hurt again. Now, I have a personal affiliation with Greedy Williams. Personal. I wanted to draft him. Okay. You needed a corner. The Lions draft when they find out. They have to hit rock bottom, and then they draft the need after. So when you looking at the game, I know you do field reviews. You looking at the game, you be like, damn, they need a middle linebacker. They really need to cover up this cover 2 zone right here because they're getting exposed in the middle. They have to wait the whole season, maybe another season, to realize we need a middle linebacker. We're getting chewed up in the season. So before Okudah came and when Slay was still here, I was still calling for Greedy Williams because I was like, that's the closest resemblance to Slay at a young age. And corners go down. With the exception of Rasheem Mathis, after 29, they starting to act crazy. Like, oh yeah.
See, my knock on Greedy Williams was this. I went through and I watched him, and I said there are three key traits that I always paid attention to. Yeah. One, I always learned from those who were great at what they did. Like, for example, Deion Sanders was great as a corner, and so was Darrelle Revis. And it's ironic enough that they both said, if I'm close enough to touch you, I'm going to treat you like you my lady. And so when they said that, I started paying attention closer to the corners to see when you're in press coverage, are you putting them hands on them? And one of the things that Deion and Darrelle Revis both said was, I would do it so much in the first quarter that by the time the second quarter came, they were throwing their hands up for no reason, thinking that I was going to jam them. Then, not too much further down the road, you hear a guy like Jalen Ramsey who say he learned from them too, and so he said, I'll beat up on you early on, and then after a while you're gonna start thinking I'm gonna touch you, and now your route is already slowed up because you're reaching out, punching at the air. So when I see those kind of things, and I started looking at Greedy Williams, I didn't see a player who was good in press conference. Then I started seeing him make executive decisions in open field, and I'm like, bro, you're the last line of defense. You cannot make an executive decision. Then I started realizing that there were plays where he could have really lit a guy up and he didn't. And so I started taking all these little pieces and breaking them down. And I was like, we cannot and should not touch him. And I think that was the same year that Myron Jones that came out of Washington, the cornerback. He's now in the Cardinals. And I had him pegged as the top rated corner. Again, I got chewed out for saying that, but it's aging really well. So a lot of things that I say don't always be popular, but I'm telling you what I see based on film. And so that's the reality.
They told Micro Mike said we're not gonna draft. He said we're gonna draft it's number 32, Swift. We're gonna draft DeAndre Swift. Yeah, DeAndre Swift. We're gonna draft him. I'd love to have him. Fans came at his neck, told him to shut up and everything. Man.
Well, they do that. They did it to him. They did it to me. They do it. I'm telling you, they will do that. I got chewed out for talking about Montez Sweat. People to this day still trying to tell me that we should have took Montez Sweat, and I'm like, he is not going to work. He's just not going to work.
Technique. I would take him. He's a 5 technique.
Yeah, but if you look at him, look at that D line that he's on. Look how many people they had to add before he started getting some funk. Like, come on,
the same way.
Exactly. But here's the difference with Michael Brockers, though. In the case of Michael Brockers, I'm not asking him to come in and be the face of my franchise. People wanted Montez Sweat to be the face of the franchise. I wasn't doing that. I'm just putting it out there. Yeah. But speaking of it, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's see. Yeah. I want to talk about this.
How many people watching?
56. 56.
Awesome.
Yeah. Amazing. So yeah, it's gonna fluctuate up and down. By the time I get to the hour mark, it's gonna be at about 70. Then it's gonna hit 75. It just fluctuates.
I appreciate all y'all for taking time on y'all days, y'all schedule, y'all
100%.
Just coming to watch this show. I appreciate that.
Now we finna get into some stuff that's been upsetting me because I've been trying my best to keep the cool. I got a guest, and when you have a guest in your house, you don't act a damn fool. But this gonna pull me out. We're gonna get your thoughts on this first. So apparently, Pro Football Focus. Are you a fan of them?
Yeah, I use them as source material from time to time.
All right.
In my channel,
I'm not mad at you.
On my channel, I purchased all the little articles and little things. I purchased the little, you go to a website, it's premium. I purchased that so y'all don't have to. So here at Avery Giavonni, Spirit of Detroit Podcast, that's what we doing over here, okay?
Tell them again. Tell the people in case they missed it.
Okay, at SpeakEZ Detroit Podcast, okay, I make sure I get all the collective pieces of information, especially my 20-minute videos, my 30-minute videos, those videos, along with the 15-minute ones. I get all the information you need. I get the PAF. I pay $30 a month for that one. I pay another $24 for the draft profile. Get all the pieces of information. Okay, that's what we're doing over here, man. So I appreciate y'all. If y'all go comment, subscribe, or shadow view. I know some of y'all need to shadow view just to watch. Don't commit to me just yet. Let me prove to you that I'm the one you should be watching. No disrespect to who I'm with. No disrespect to nobody. I'm just saying, like, you know what I'm saying? I do that so you don't have to. Okay,
100%. Now the comments and I have like the best like subscribers ever, man. Like there's some people here who are just absolutely awesome. One fucking Lion fan says if we ran a 4-3 sweat would have been fine, but we was not going to run a 4-3, and that's why you don't take him. I said because he was not going to change anything for you, and he only had one pass rush move, which oh my god, if people understood how irritating it is to see that.
He could have been. To me, he could have been a 3 technique.
I wouldn't have touched. No way. No.
He's a 5 technique and a 3-4. He's a 3 technique and a 4-3.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have did it. Hey, listen, you gotta understand. I look at division first and foremost, and nah. I feel like sometimes you can use a player at a position where they'll be good, and then there's times you can use a player at a position that'll be great. I'll give you a perfect example, right? Like, I don't know if people remember this or not, but I remember there used to be times where they would take Cam Chancellor from the strong safety spot and just say play linebacker, right? Mm-hmm. Like they would do this, and I'm like, oh, he wasn't bad, right? He wasn't bad, but what he did do when he got put back into his natural habitat was become the animal we always saw. And so I get the idea that he could do it, but would he be great at it? And that's the thing, that you have to look at.
That goes back to your question. That goes back, right?
But let's talk about Pro Football Focus. Back to Pro Football Focus. They say, according to them, that the Lions defense was bad, yes, partly because of Matt Patricia, but it was really and mostly the talent on the team. What do you think about that?
I got to answer this intellectually.
Take your time. Take your time now. Don't want you going down the roads. Okay, go ahead.
Right. I appreciate the subscription. Someone said they subscribed to me. My channel isn't Pride of Detroit, it's Spirit of Detroit, but that's okay. Hopefully you'll find it. Guess what? Oh, you already subscribed. Guess what? It was a little bit of both. I think Patricia should get most of the blame. Because one, him and his regime gutted the talent. Can we be honest? The first thing first was when he came over initially in 2018 and he wanted to establish that 3-4 philosophy.
I'm sorry.
What's wrong?
He said, I'm sorry, it's the weed. My God.
He was already subscribed. I was already
essentially, he's saying that he gave you the wrong name because he high. That's what he said.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. It caught me off guard.
He also said, I was already subscribed to you, big dog. It was like, oh, okay. I'm glad.
Go ahead,
my family to get bigger. That's all.
Listen, let's get it, man.
So 2018, like you a head coach coming in, your scheme. You do the fanfare. You do the videos. He had his first press conference. Channel 7 did an interview with him after the press conference, and he just said, I just hope my card works tomorrow. And he left on that same note. Just want to put that out there. He was already thinking about getting fired before, before taking the job. 2018, he gets here. He knows he wants to institute a 3-4 defense. He has the draft coming up in like a month, 2 months. He needs to realize I need 3-4 players. He can move some players around, but to really establish your 3-4, and I use Green Bay as an example in 2009 or 2010. Green Bay first pick was B.J. Raji and Clay Matthews because they could play a 3-4. And you need a nose tackle, effective nose tackle, and you need an outside backer that can rush the passer. You need a pass rusher. Those are critical things in a 3-4 that every person who has a 3-4 needs. You can't get around it. You can say, oh yeah, we could stand up Cliff Averill. No, you can't do that. It's a 3-4. That person's not going to have the ability to do all that wide 9 stuff like they were doing before. They're not going to be able, that person. If you stand up a 6'2" person, just like we see with this Trey Flowers idiot, you stand up this 6'2" guy, he's already at a disadvantage because he's going to have the guard and the left tackle looking at him like, oh yeah, we got you, big dog. Now he can swing move and he can get some sacks off lucky plays. If you look at most of his plays, the most sacks that Trey Flowers got was from like holding the ball too long, especially with the who is that? The New York Giants. Anyway, that was his first mistake. His second mistake was he never adjusted to his personnel. And you said it earlier. You said players would come to him. Quandre Diggs was a main person. They doing this and this. Okay, just run it again. But I said they doing this and this. Just run it again. And if you can't cover it, do it again. He would put players in the worst position. Quandre Diggs, if this article was true with the PFF, why did Quandre Diggs become a Pro Bowler after he left the team?
Well, this article, keep in mind, I want to kind of give you a little bit of context towards it. This article basically used the sample size of saying that they looked at the 4-game stretch, basically, where Darrell Bevell was interim head coach, and the defense still sucked, not under Patricia's watch. That was their sample size. I personally threw up in my throat, and this is one of the reasons why I don't support or rock with Pro Football Focus, because it's a bunch of malarkey. And so to give me that window is ridiculous. And another reason why I don't like Pro Football Focus and why this particular thing is crazy is because of the reason you just gave. They purged this roster. They brought this talent here. They were the ones who coached it up. And like you just said, they were the ones when players were trying to tell them what's going on that was saying run it again. This is his baby.
And I'm going through a whole season and I'm trying to answer this academically and give people respect. And you out here telling me this took 4 games. 4 games. 4 games. They took the 4 games to make this analysis. All right. They out their mind.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. They literally said, oh, we looked at this sample size of this time, and this is where they didn't have it, and they gave up this. And I'm like, he was here 2.5 years.
Right. Check this out. Shout out to Gilbert Bertello, one of my subscribers. Dude is amazing. He had called me up or Facebook chatted me, and he had showed me Good Morning Football yesterday. And Good Morning Football said we was gonna have the second to best defense.
Say what?
Yeah. Oh yeah. This new content.
Yeah. Okay.
All that toxic. We talking about some real stuff today. I think Good Morning Football. That white dude that be next to Burleson,
Peter Strager.
Is
that his name? Strager?
It's not the nerd one. It's the other one that just.
Oh, Jesus.
It's the one that tees up
the younger one. Yeah, the younger one.
Yeah. The guy who looked thicky, Brad Pitt. That dude, he was like, the Lions might have one of the most pesky defenses. I look forward to Lions because I don't know if it's kneecaps. He was saying the whole thing. I don't know. They're going to be really hard to beat. Aaron Glenn is going to be a force, and Don Capers as the assistant. I'm like, oh yeah, I know. I've already done a video on it. They must be watching.
There you go. Kyle Brandon is his name. I can't never remember his name for the life of me, but he's funny. So let me ask you this, because I didn't know that they talked about that. Yeah. And so I'm finna I hate to do this to you. I usually do this to everybody, but I do an off-script question. So it's coming. Okay. It's off-script.
Yeah.
Are you buying it? Are you buying it? They're going to be one of the most pesky defenses. And if you are buying it, tell me why. And if you're not, tell me why you don't buy it.
I buy it. I buy it completely.
Tell me why.
I seen the New Orleans Saints, a team that had to practice at a high school in 2005.
Facts.
Talk at a house school. Okay.
Preach now.
I seen them have a top 15 defense the next year under a different coach, and then have a top number 1 offense off just coaching, people understanding personnel. And when people understand personnel and they understand how their players is moving and what the strength of the player is, see, a lot of these coordinators come in, they're like, I want this way. And that's not the case. This is football. You have to be able to adjust to your players. You have to be able to look like Bill Parcells did. When he got to where he did, 2003, he's seen small linebackers. Normally he has 6'5" above linebackers. That's his like coup de grace, if you will. He always needs his linebackers to be big. Bill Belichick also needed linebackers to be big. But when he went to Dallas, he had 5'11" linebackers. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. And he stayed with a 4-3. He already knew he couldn't just tear everything down. So he just simplified everything and made every linebacker not learn something new, but just play faster. And him, guys like Wade Phillips as the assistant, things like that, those people use 3-4 models, right? They use 3-4 principles in a 4-3. They created one gap sets. They created offsets. They played a 4-3 under. They played all these different things and tried to expose a little 3-4 at the end of the year. That team went 9-7. I've already seen this before. I've already seen it. The Lions could right now win 7 games. I'm saying it now.
Listen, I got them at 8-10. So yeah. I got them at 8-10, and I'll tell you my reason why I think there will be a pesky defense. It's the first part of it is this, and this is actually going to kind of lead up to one of our other questions. But the first part of it is because who we have as defensive coordinator.
That's it.
And the fact that guy has a safety blanket behind him and Don Capers, and I look at that and I say, okay, what is the difference between this defense and last year's defense? Well, first, the scheme is more adaptable. That's the first thing. And it's free flowing and it allows for them to do things a little bit more free. But the bigger thing is this. There's accountability from every level. And I keep on telling people this. There's different levels to this. And it gets
losing 20 pounds.
Exactly.
Exactly.
The fact that he was asked to gain so much weight, I thought like he was already slow. What's the plan here? Like, he was good at the weight that he was at. You saw him perform at the weight. Why did he need to get bigger? Like, I'm leave it alone. But to me, to be that pesky defense, I see guys who can win one-on-one battles. I see guys who can not only win the one-on-one battle, but I also see guys that can that are athletic enough to move around in space. They can run so many different fronts and sets in front of people because you have the athletes to do it. So I can definitely see him. And the number one reason, which brings me to this question right here, which we got to talk about it is can Will Harris find his footing? Wait a minute. Wait. Did you put a bag of chips out? You got on the mic.
You got me on camera? You got me on camera?
But they can hear that bag. I can tell you that. They can hear that bag.
I wanted to be on camera. Official.
He said, I wanted to be here. You want to hear? Here, let me get you. There you go. Boom.
Chips Ahoy, the only brand that cares about the Detroit Lions. There you go.
But let's put it in perspective. Can Will Harris find his footing with Aaron Glenn as defensive coordinator?
I think so.
Let's talk about it.
It's Aubrey Pleasant for me. Oh, I sound like a female. My bad. Anyway, Aubrey Pleasant had the defensive coordinator. Well, not the coordinator. He's his official title is defensive backs pass catching coordinator, some nonsense. Anyway, Aubrey Pleasant he's worked wonders for the careers of LaMarcus Joyner, Nickel, Roby Coleman, Kevon Webster, Tremaine Johnson, John Johnson. And this was before he came from the Rams. And this was before they got Talib, Aqib Talib, and Ramsey and all these superstars. In 2017, all them players had 2 interceptions. All them players LaMarcus Joyner left and got a big contract for the Raiders. Has been in disarray ever since. What I'm saying to you is Aubrey Pleasant, the guy who's going to be working under every day in training camp, who's going to break down his fundamental mechanics that he doesn't have and build them back up, who turned Quinton Dunbar from a wide receiver to a grade A cornerback. And Quinton Dunbar has 10 interceptions in 5 years? This is what I'm talking about. Aaron Glenn is going to cover the big bases. He was a former cornerback. But he's got a defense to work with. He's got to focus on the defense. He gonna change people around. He gonna look at Okudah. He gonna take Okudah under his wing, maybe a Warrior, all these dudes. He gonna touch base with a lot of things. But the person who gonna work with him every single day of the week, the person who gonna look at him and be like, hey.
Did we lose him? Don't tell me we lost him.
Oh no, man! My little sister needed something. Anyway.
Oh, okay. I'm telling you we lost you now.
She's 4 or 5. I gotta help her out, man. She got the the weave makes her like 5. The weave makes her 5'10", but she's really 4 or 5. Anyway,
I'm not even touch on that.
But for real, like Aubrey Pleasant, the guy who's gonna be working under, is really gonna solidify him because he's already breaking down the little small problems with our other safety. So I know if he can break down those small problems with that safety and correct some of those fundamental issues, those footwork issues and reacting to the ball, some things he has to work on. But he's still a phenomenal safety. I forget his name.
I get where you're going. I think for me with Will Harris, it is Aaron Glenn as defensive coordinator. It's what he did as a defensive backs coach for the Saints. Yeah. And on top of that, like you said, what Pleasant did, and then you figure you got the safety blanket and Caper. And I just look at it like this, and I see this question up here from One Proud 40, and I want to make sure I address that too. But I look at it and I say, if Will Harris can't get better with this coaching staff, and then the problem is with him. And as One Proud 40 point out, that if it doesn't work out, can we blame the other staff? No, we can't. The problem is him at that point.
He was an in-the-box safety when they drafted him.
Which is why I don't know why Patricia – you know what? I'm not going back there.
He got him out there in a single high safety talking about –
I'm not going there.
This the same man that put Myers on the field, number 43.
Who
went through a wall when he tried to tackle my man from Tennessee. He went through a wall. There's a whole meme. He pushed that man, and that man flew across China and everything, man.
Well, let me do this really quick because I got to go back to here. My man James Willis says that he is from Coldwater, so shout out to Coldwater, Michigan, because I spend way too much damn time in Coldwater, Michigan. Wait, why did I hear myself? What the hell happened? I don't know. Nah, I thought I heard myself, but I spend way too much time out of Coldwater fishing. They got some of the best fish out there that you can get, and they bite. If you're looking for a good spot, go to Coldwater. You're gonna get perch. You're gonna get lake trout. You're gonna get salmon. You might find yourself not wanting to come back to land. Now, if you like me, and the water get too choppy, then you want no parts of that boat, let alone the damn water. But shout out to Coldwater. I gotta give them that. They got some good fish. It's delicious. Another thing that I look at is this. Oh, you know what? You know what? I got other questions, but I want to move it along. It said, yeah, you was getting the echo for a minute, Luke. I thought I was tripping. I knew I wasn't. I don't know. Oh, that Northern Pike. Oh, I'm gonna be quiet. So you trying to get me in trouble, James? You trying to get me? Next time I go fishing, James, I'm gonna find one of your comments and see if you can catch up with me. See if you want to go fishing, man. Like I said, it's worth the drive for me. It's good food. Anytime you do it. Tim Hutchinson says, just like the bottle of Heinz ketchup. You know what? I don't know what y'all talking about. Okay. I don't know if you noticed, Avery. They've been trying to pin this crime on me. Okay. Apparently somebody, okay, that I may or may not know.
Yeah.
Okay. Left a bottle of ketchup in the trunk of a vehicle in Arizona. And
what?
That bottle may or may not have exploded, causing what could look like the worst crime scene in car vehicle history. That said person may or may not have tried to clean that out, but was unsuccessful, and therefore left the trunk closed and returned the vehicle swiftly as that person returned to their home state. Now, I'm not saying I know the guy, but if I did know the guy, why would he ever admit to the crime? I just don't see it. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Just want to put it out there.
I'm surprised he kept the car, but he probably got a car note. He got to keep that mug.
Listen, I don't know.
You a car note. You can't even. You don't even want to drive it no more. You want to keep it safe.
I don't know. I like Mustard. We team Mustard over here. Now I do want to give them time to ask us questions and stuff because, like I said, I know that's one of the things.
Yeah.
But let's jump into the part for them to get questions. I do have other questions, but I do want to make sure. Well, you know what? Let me do one more. I'll do one more question because we got to talk about this, and I'm not going to vent, but I'm going to respectfully give an opinion.
Okay.
Joik Bell gave his way too early prediction for the Lions, and he said they're going to finish 3-14. Do you agree with the Lions vet?
He need a check.
You say for that check, you would say whatever too.
I'm 10 toes down over here.
He said he need a check.
He need a check. See, he over there. Look, man. I obviously I have certain relationships to build still. But when I see Joik Bell, who hasn't been in the fold in I don't know how long, 5 years.
It's been a while.
Been a while. He was his most he made was 800,000 off a contract when he had 800 yards. And I'm like, he must have blew that with Kanye or Eminem or somebody.
Surprisingly, Joik Bell is very financially savvy. I appreciate what he do, especially with his charities and stuff. But to me, this idea of the Lions going 3-14, what bothers me the most about it is the fact that he makes this prediction, and I'm thinking, what do you see from this coaching staff, this roster that says that they're going to be worse?
For me, it's two things, right? This is him. All right. If it's not about the check and getting paid to say stupid stuff, let me just get paid to say stupid stuff. If it's about something else, if that's his real thoughts, I don't think that's his real thoughts because every Lion come through here got the Kool-Aid after a while. Nate Burleson, we embraced him so much. He still talk about us. Still got Lions blood clothing. Shout out to the clothing brand. He still got that going. He still got all this love for Detroit. A lot of people leave here, got all this love for Detroit. Joik Bell is from here. I know he's doing this. In my idea, he's doing this to say, oh yeah, let me motivate them. I know they're going to hear about it. I don't really believe.
I like that take.
I don't really believe he thinks that. Yeah, that's nonsense. He was showing they had 10 men on the field twice, man. I don't know what they doing, man. But if that was us, if that was that 2014 team, we would have never did that.
That's a good point.
And we was defending the hell out of that team. So for me, I'm like, he just want to motivate them and
I like your take. I really do like your take because I was getting ready to go somewhere with it that was not going to be professional. But I still find it disgusting. I mean, if that's your way of motivating them to tell people you don't buy into it, you don't believe it. Then at one point he switches and says, "Oh, I give him 5 wins." I just don't see how we stay the same or get worse when basically the reason we sucked was because of coaching. And then
Joik Bell is the deacon in the church. Everybody knows the deacon in the church.
If you want to really look at it different, come on, man, 3-14, really though?
Well,
really?
He knows that we're gonna amplify. Another thing we as Lions fans do is I think we just did it. We just contributed to the toxic environment because we talked about we harp on the negative. He knows we don't harp on the negative. He knows we gonna blow. Joik Bell said, I bought a jersey of his. Look, Joik Bell is not saying anything for Detroit. He's saying things for Bloomfield Hills. Okay, that's what he's saying things for. So if he really believes that, and that's his real take, I doubt it because I think he's one of them people that just say something to inspire some type of action because he's not really a talker on that show anyway. And then, honestly, we just talked about PFF or whatever, saying we had the worst team since whatever nonsense they say. We need to keep it moving. Detroit Lions fans, I'm encouraging y'all. Y'all see some negative stuff, just keep it moving. YouTubers too. I know y'all watching. I know the little boy watching. I know everybody watching. So if y'all see some negative reviews, negative anything, let's just keep it moving. We doing this the Detroit culture. We're gonna invent a culture of optimism, love, respect. And if Joik say something crazy, we ain't even gonna look his way because we don't even know he might be doing bad. I saw him in a Toyota Camry over there on Joy Road. I swear to God,
Man, listen, Joy. I'm gonna tell you right now, Joy is one of them guys that real talk financial wise, the dude is on it. I'll give him that. One funky Lion fan said, he says, "Hey Luke, do you think the honey mustard would have exploded like that?" I don't know, and I will hope that honey mustard was never left in a situation like that because I love mustard. So I will hope not. I see Jimbo G get some things in, but at this point, people, this is where we get into your questions. You ask us whatever you want, we'll answer it. You can direct it at me, you can direct it at Avery, you can direct it at both of us. It's up to y'all, really. But this is your time to ask questions. Any questions that you have that you want to point towards us, go for it. And then what I'll do is I'll try to hit on as many as possible, because one of the things that told you,
Joy got his own cryptocurrency. Okay.
I'm telling you, when it come to the investments and moving that money, that he's very financially smart, and I respect the hell out of him for that. 100%. Like, but that damn 3 and 14. Yeah.
I'm just making jokes. I don't really.
No. Listen, I'm with you. Let's see what the question. It says first pick, Rattler Golf gets out. Let's see. Luke, any smart man can read between these people like Bell that talk negative about the Lions. That's fair, good point. Will the Lions have a top 15 rushing attack? That comes from Hatterhouse 710. What say you, Avery? Will the Lions have a top 15 rushing attack?
I don't know how to gauge it, but the defense cannot stop Williams and Swift right now. I read that in a mini camp before I went on annual training for the military. I read that the defense could not stop Williams right now. And
let me make it easier for you. Put a percentage. If you out of 0 to 100%.
I was gonna say yes. I just talk long.
Oh no. I'm saying I want to kind of make it just a little bit easier though. Okay. 0 to 100%. What percentage that you're giving in terms of a chance that the Lions will have a top 15 rushing attack?
90% chance.
Oh damn. Okay. Man, you got me feeling better. I was gonna say 70, but you know what? I'm gonna tell you why I'm gonna give it 70, because I think they're still gonna try to play a balanced style of football. And when you're trying to play that balanced style of football, you got to start to go through and look at the top rushing teams, period, that's going to run a ball regardless, And so the Browns is going to still run the ball. The Seahawks are still going to run the ball. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to attempt to run the ball this year because they couldn't do it the year before. Mm-hmm. And so I think that you're going to get some teams who are going to do it. But with our offensive line potential and the 2 running backs we have, I think it's definitely there. But now you got me feeling bad, so I'm joining you. 90%, damn it. I'm on board, okay?
I mean, you got to protect golf. I mean, and man, come on now. We know they're going to run. We know they're going to run. I just hope it's top 15, though, for real. Like,
okay. All right, this is a good one for you right here. Tim Hutchinson says, how many rookies on the defense do you think will get a starting role with us? How many rookies? I got that number in my head already because I can basically figure out who it is quickly.
It's a good-ass question.
It is a good question. So let's see. If I'm answering this, I'm going to give you Enrique, McNeil, Barnes. There go your starters right there. Rookies.
Barnes is starting?
Absolutely.
Barnes injury? With an injury, right?
No.
You expect him to start over Anzalone?
Hell yes. Yes. At the inside linebacker, I'm going to tell you why. Join me down this road. We might get our first debate. Let's get it.
Let's go.
All right. First thing you got to do is look at what Derek Barnes do. Derek Barnes is very good at running sideline to sideline, very similar to how Stephen Tulloch was with the run, sideline to sideline. But the thing that he does best is he takes on blockers, and he can play outside and inside. That gives him more versatility and more opportunity to play. I think the Core brothers are going to be on the outside. I think they move Barnes inside to play inside with Collins, and therefore he's a starter. Anzalone, who they still love because he's good on special teams and he can come in relief, I think they keep him in that role, hence the $1.75 million contract they handed him. With Anzalone, if Anzalone become the starter, now I got to ask questions because I don't see that being the case, because if Anzalone was going to be the starter, they wouldn't have traded up to secure both St. Brown and Barnes. Barnes is going to be a versatile.
They traded up to the 5th round,
fourth
round
to the 4th.
And you think that's a damn? You act like they traded up to get Robert Griffin III or something.
No, but listen, it don't even gotta be a trade up to get nobody like that. It's in the 4th round. Let's not act like 4th round talent ain't good. We both know that 4th round talent it's got some spunk to it. No, we're not gonna act like they not good. Now, come on, now.
Right.
We're not gonna. I mean, what round was Stephon Diggs taken in?
Stephon Diggs taken in the 4th round, 3rd round? He was like a 5th round pick.
5th. Antonio Brown, 5th round pick, and it's been a host of other people who've been taken in those later rounds. However, you got to look at it. There was no commitment to Anzalone being a starter by virtue of this. With Anzalone, is he gonna be healthy? But I don't even think the injury part is even got to be factored into it. I just think he gets outplayed by Barnes. They love Derek. Did you see that damn Dan video? They love Derek Barnes. Okay, your turn. Tell me why Barnes won't be the starter. I can't wait to hear this.
When I model my 3-4 defense, and I'm specifically focusing on the linebackers, I need a linebacker that can just assume up tackles. I need a coverage linebacker. This goes back to Brandon Marshall, Danny Trevathan, Denver Broncos. They were both coverage linebackers. They both could excel in coverage and get tackles.
Okay,
and then I think Danny Trevathan went to Chicago, and now he plays with either Roquan Smith, but Roquan Smith moved to the right or something like that. But in a traditional 3-4, I need a linebacker to eat up tackles, and I need a linebacker for coverage. I think Anzalone fits best with the coverage part of it. And where does the Lion King play on all that? I call him the Lion King.
The Lion King. I'm picking up what you put up. Go ahead.
I don't think he wears 58 no more. He wears freaking. I was telling my girlfriend.
Number 8.
He wears number 8.
Yeah, he wears number 8 now.
Yeah, He's the dude, man.
But he's gonna be your coverage linebacker.
I think. Matter of fact, I think you might have something to you. You think he's gonna be coverage linebacker? Hold on.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. What? I'm gonna tell you. I know. Even when I say things, I know it sounds crazy, but listen, you got to look at what they're going to be asking to do. The Detroit Lions went from a team that rarely blitzes, and one of the things that Derek Barnes does really well is blitz. Like, you can send this dude from anywhere. He's going to go. He's getting there. He don't mind. He's like, who's too small?
Barnes.
Avery, when we get done with this stream, we're going to have to do some film study. We're going to have to go through and look at some Derek Barnes film so we can talk about him being too small. I'm going to show you bench. I'm going to literally show you Derek Barnes bench pressing lineman bigger than him with one arm. Like, this ain't for you. Like, he want that smoke. You're gonna put some respect on my man's name, man. Okay.
Look at that pro day numbers all inflated.
Listen, listen. And you know the best part about this, though, Avery, real talk. The best part about this is one of us is gonna be right. The other one's gonna be wrong, and it's on tape.
Yeah, it's not an echo chamber.
No.
Nonsense. It's something for real.
Look, they trying to look. But that's a good listen. Now we might have set that one up. We might have set that up on your channel where we debate Derek Barnes or Anzalone as a starter. That, you know what? Yeah, we gonna do that.
Yeah.
Let's get through these questions, man. We got some more questions. I want to make sure we hit on them.
I think 3 start. 3 start. And
who are your 3?
Barring injury.
Barring
injury.
You think injury gonna have to happen? I gotta hear these 3.
And I think it's gonna be a game-to-game thing. Watch. So it's gonna be for real. What I'm thinking is, like, you might start the game. If you're playing the Browns, they're gonna have 3 or 4 wide receivers. They have the same like philosophy as us with the spread offense, right? So you're probably gonna start with a 3 safety look. And you might have a cover corner as your hybrid safety, Melifonwu. So Melifonwu potentially could start in that role when we play against these pass-happy AFC North teams. Okay. You know, especially the Bengals. Them boys I don't even think they need a running back. They just go back there and they just five wide. And that's potential. Another thing is you got Melifonwu. Enzarika gonna start, and McNeil. But I'm gonna toss you a bone with this Barnes character. Okay, I think the world has to end. People got to get back in office. Korea got to bomb North Dakota.
Are you serious?
Man, this dude is a special teams dude, man.
Oh.
Do you think is he gonna be better than Michael Parsons? No. I was in the Michael Parsons camp. I know this is your type of guy.
No, listen, I'll tell you what. But he's very similar. He's very similar to Michael Parsons in a lot of ways. He really is. He's very similar. Listen, we're gonna do this debate. Y'all heard it here first. Me and Avery, we lining it up. It's already in the sites. We're gonna debate who is the starter. Huh?
It's exciting for me.
Well, listen, we're gonna do it on your channel. We get everybody come onto your channel. We need a mediator though. We need a mediator.
Okay.
I don't want to find one. You don't say he's cheating for me now. I don't want. But I think you're gonna be rogue about this one. This one comes from Looney Tunes. He says, Luke, what is your record for the Detroit Lions through the first 8 games? So the first 8 games we play, the 49ers win, Packers win, Ravens, that's a possible. Bears win, Vikings, that's a loss. Bengals win, Rams. I think we take an L traveling out there.
You may want to do a video, man.
I got us to the first 8 games. I just put the things out there. I got us in the first 8 games, 5-3. What you got us? You give you the schedule?
I won't. Look. I'm pulling it up. Okay, you ain't the only one with a cell phone, and I was just trying to help you out. I was trying to let you see the schedule. I don't want nobody to say I wasn't being fair. You know, your boy Barnes might get a tackle one of these games on the.
Don't worry about it. When he the starter, we gonna revisit this. I told you my stuff aged well.
Yeah, I hope we do too. For your sake, it'd be the first debate I lost ever in my life. Might retire after that.
You the Floyd Mayweather debates.
Yeah, I'm right now. I'm 0-0. I'm undefeated. I'm a Lion. We're undefeated. Damn. I mean, dang it. This is a family show. This is bad. I say 4-4. I say we're gonna get past the 49ers. I got us beating the Ravens and the Bears on some fluke stuff, and I got us beating the Bengals.
So you got us beating the 49ers.
Yeah.
The Bengals.
Yeah.
The Ravens.
Yeah. On some fluke stuff, on some last minute field goal stuff. They always give a game away.
And who's the 4th team?
And the Bears. We're gonna beat the Bears.
You think we lose to the Eagles? At home?
The Eagles. That's a game on there?
That's 8 games. Look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, I can't say that. I can't. That would be stupid. Yeah.
So you got 5-3.
Man.
Join me. Go ahead. Let it happen.
5-3.
Let it happen.
But then you know what's gonna happen? These people gonna be, we're going to the playoffs. Like
let it happen. Let it happen.
Stuff last year.
This is a question that comes from One Pride 40. He said this is for both of us. It says, do you compare the potential of this draft class to the 2017 Saints draft class? Ooh,
interesting. That's a great video. Thanks.
I'm trying to think. I know, right? I'm like, damn. Okay, to the 2017. I got to go and look at that. This draft class
too. Asking questions like that. That's all we do is ask questions and make
2017. I mean, you talking about the Saints, right? 2017 Saints draft.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think. I mean, this they usually come with something that throw me off, and I'd be like, "Yo, that's like I never thought about that." Again, I don't have all the answers. I'll examine somebody else's view. It's how you get better and understand. That's
Marshawn Lattimore,
right? They took Lattimore,
Marcus Williams.
Yeah, they took Ramczyk. They took Marcus Williams, the safety. They took Elvin Kamara, running back. Then they took linebacker Alex Anzalone. Well, that didn't age well. They took D. they took D and Trey Hendricks.
I was mad when we got Anzalone. Don't think I'm an Anzalone caper. Okay,
I didn't say that. Listen. All I said is it didn't age well. You.
No.
You assume. Okay, all right.
I'm just saying something off the cuff. Like I was not a fan of Anzalone. I was not. When we got him, see, I wanted this other guy from the Saints. He was like, I think his number was Quin Alexander. That's who I wanted because he's everything Barnes is, but he's actually proven it. You feel me? He proven it. And like if you look up Quin Alexander, his highlights, you'll see, oh wow, this is just like Barnes. I know because I said it. I said it a couple times.
Perryman dropped just one of his 65 targets in 2019. I'm doing so. He became one of the five receivers, in 2019 with 50 plus receptions with one or fewer drops. He had a 91.2 grade versus MAM. I don't know what the hell is that supposed to be. Miami? I think they're trying to go for Miami.
Versus man coverage.
Oh, okay. Why you didn't put? Oh, he was trying to put MAN. Okay, I'm picking it up. All right. So that's an interesting stat.
This is a question.
No, this is just something I saw and I thought it was an interesting statement, so I put it up there.
Shout out to Hands Therapeutic. He always insults my channel. Shout out to you, brother. I love you, brother. God bless. Don't worry, subscribe. But Perryman's not gonna repeat that. I'm telling you.
See, I did a breakdown looking at our receiving core current production to our previous receiving core, and then I looked at it. I did it based on the average of the league. What do you say? Oh, yeah, listen. Yeah. When you detail, you got to get it out.
Yeah.
But I think our receiving core is going to be better than what people think. They're not going to be like reinventing the wheel or anything like that. But I think they'll be good. This is a question that comes from Edward Molinda. It says, "Do we have enough at wide receiver?" I think we do. You don't think we don't have enough?
I think Sage Surratt is good. We start with that.
Oh, Avery, we got two debates to talk about. They definitely
Ra is not the guy. I don't know why y'all keep.
Did you say that? Did you say that really?
Yes, he's not the guy.
What is
because he has a Kobe mentality? Y'all just like it. I'm going to push people's jobs. He got all these sound bites.
Wait, he got a who mentality?
Man, he got a Mamba mentality. I'm here to take people's jobs. I'm not sold on this dude.
So hold on. Wait. Let's go through. Let's review. You said he got a Mamba mentality. You gave him the mentality of a great.
He said that. He literally.
I know, but I'm just saying you gave him the
4 a.m. every day.
I think he's gonna be a savage. I think he's gonna be a savage, bro. I do. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is gonna be a savage. What the height got to do with anything? We've seen short receivers get it. How tall was Steve Smith? Go ahead, I'll wait.
Steve Smith was Steve Smith.
No. We
Amon-Ra played in the Pac-12, right?
You gave me Steve. You gave me 6'1" as the reason for it.
Just gave up in the fourth round. They gave up.
He said they gave up.
They gave up.
To me, those are the two most influential players that we took in that draft outside of Sewell.
Influential.
Yep. They're going to have a huge impact on the team.
On special teams.
Who?
Special teams.
You really believe that?
Amon-Ra. I've heard his sound bites. I wanted to do a video on the dude. I like his father, his brothers, they all like real educated and they play football and they're like machines and they wake up at 4 a.m. to work out and and Amon-Ra was talking all this stuff like I'm gonna take people's jobs and it was all cute and everything. But bro, you ain't got no chance. You know why he ain't got no chance? Because he played it in he literally had less than 10-20% of his catches were against contested people. So he was always wide open. He was always wide open. And in the Pac-10, Pac-12, them boys just running free. You know that.
So you know
that.
You feeling good.
USC receivers? Really?
What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the USC receiver?
I wouldn't touch a USC receiver with a 10-foot pole. I draft a running backs. I'll draft.
What about Juju Smith-Schuster?
I'll draft Smith-Schuster.
You don't respect him?
Dropsies? You talking about dropsies? You talking about?
Oh man,
Juju on the beat? He dancing on the thing. He dancing on the. He lost that game for them. Juju on the beat. You talking about Juju?
This is a good question right here. You're gonna like this one. Juju on this beat. Okay, what? Listen, y'all heard it here first. Me and Avery gonna do a debate show. I don't know how it's gonna happen. It's coming. It's coming. Vincent, he says, "Is golf more championship ready?" The past that. Oh, okay. I got what he's doing. So is he more championship ready than Stafford? I think the team around him can be more championship ready, but I don't think teams win solely by quarterback. That's just my opinion.
You know what? Actually, you're wrong. You know why? I'm gonna tell you.
I'm
gonna tell your fan base why you're wrong. So, fan base, there's a team that goes to the Super Bowl every year, and they play a quarterback. They play one person. It's a problem to me. It's a problem.
Who that one team?
Exactly. So check this out. If I confused anybody, I was making a joke that
listen. You definitely confused me.
One quarterback does not bring you a championship. Quarterback is not. We just need a quarterback and that's it. Think about Trent Dilfer. Think about Banks for the it was Banks for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2002. Think about all the quarterbacks. Peyton Manning that last year. It was all. The team is championship ready, but when you talk about is golf versus Stafford championship ready, there's no way. There's no way. You can say golf, but there's no possible way a quarterback is just I'm championship ready. But you're on a bad team. Look at Deshaun Watson last year. He ain't go nowhere. It's just impossible.
You ain't lying. That when I was reading up them stats for who's the top team in passing yards and stuff. People looking like what? I said, yeah, the Texans.
What they're trying to do, they're trying to convince people like they seen teams where they were a quarterback away. You know, you seen Washington a couple years, they were just a quarterback away, or Denver a couple years, they were quarterback away, and then they got that quarterback, and just amazing. So now they're trying to say, oh yeah, all we need is a quarterback, and he can get us to the Super. That's not true. That's like causation versus correlation. You know what I'm saying? You understand what I'm saying?
Now listen, Steve-O, shout out to Steve-O, because Steve-O says Steve Smith came from the Pac-12 and he went to USC too.
Who?
Steve Smith, that guy that you was talking about.
Steve Smith went to USC.
Listen, I'm just here so I don't.
Drafted like in the 6th round.
Who?
Steve Smith wasn't drafted high, was he?
Steve Smith was drafted. Let me see. I don't even know what college.
You know what?
He was drafted in the 3rd round.
Who is this?
He was drafted in the 3rd round.
Shout out to Steve-O, man. Iron sharpens iron, man. So correction is needed at all times. I appreciate you, big dog.
And I don't know what school he went to. I don't know what school Steve Smith.
Yeah, we're gonna find out today.
But yeah, I listen. It looked like Utah.
Man, get out of man.
According to Pro Football Reference, it like he played at Utah. He was taken in the 3rd round by the Carolina Panthers in the 2001 NFL draft.
Like I said, it was Steve Smith.
And he played. What's up? So Utah plays in Mountain West Conference. I mean, that's not
Amon Ra versus Contact.
So let me see. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss nobody's question. That's a different Steve Smith. I'm talking about the receiver because he said 6'1", like 6'1" was short or something. I'm like, it's been shorter receiver that ball. So, listen, Avery, can we do this before we get up out of there?
Yeah.
Can we agree to do a debate? 2 debates.
Oh, yeah.
We definitely got to debate this starter of Derek Barnes.
I know you're gonna cape for this boy because he's gonna have a 100-yard running game or a 100-yard passing game. This Amon Ra, he gonna have a game where he catching a lot of passes. He gonna catch the 6th prediction. y'all gonna have a game where he has 6 catches for 121, and y'all gonna say make him the starter and all this other stuff. Avery, look, Avery, and all this nonsense, man. At the end of the day, I just really feel like this dude is a piece. He's not this like Megatron receiver y'all trying to make him out to be.
I don't think he's. I don't see, that's the thing. Everybody, whenever a receiver comes here, they compare him to Calvin Johnson. I'm not even comparing him to Calvin Johnson. I think he's going to be like a Hines Ward, what's it, AJ Brown type player. That's good enough for me. You don't need him to be Megatron. You just need him to be a solid receiver. Well, like Megatron's a mutant.
I needed Diami Brown. That's what I needed. See, Diami Brown had 106 receptions. He had 2,000 yards in 2 years since 2019. Like he had 20 touchdowns.
But he wasn't there for us to pick.
That's whose fault is that?
Listen, you ain't taking him in the
first.
first.
Package them 2 4th-round picks that y'all gave up on.
So wait, you would have gave us 2? Oh yeah, we finna have some fun with this debate. We finna.
Diami Brown is outside, inside. He is everywhere. He is your go-to. So Derek Barnes, really.
I'm just saying. Hold on 1 second.
Okay. I ain't do no video on Derek Barnes, people, for a reason.
Now listen. We gonna have to debate Derek Barnes, and we're going to debate Amon-Ra St. Brown. And when we debate those two,
it's gonna be. Can it be at the end of the season? Because I know you're gonna do some stuff where it's the middle of the season.
I ain't gonna do no. Listen, we could do one. We could do one before the season.
Okay.
And then we can do one after the season. That way, we will be able to see the outcomes of it. I think there are some things that go in favor for him to why I'm enjoying what he is. Mm-hmm. And then I think you'll get it. It says, Luke, do you see us winning our first NFC North title under Campbell? Hell yes. Yes. If so, when?
Easy.
Maybe next year. The win part is the hard part, but I think this year it's still him putting up the foundation. I can tell you this much: he set himself up to be the winner for next year's free agency. I bet you that. When the word is already being spread throughout the league that things are sighting here, then you're gonna see it.
Yeah, he's gonna be cold. I think that is maybe 3 years from now. I don't know, but it might be next year, like you say, because Green Bay. I think it depends on everybody around us. It's not. Sometimes it's where you build your house. It's not, how you build the house. It's where and the location right now. If you look at right now, Minnesota and Chicago are really like right there. Green Bay is going to take a major lapse. And if they think Jordan Love is going to save them, they out there. They're bad. They out their mind.
Well, like I said, man, we definitely gonna hit on some different things. I'm definitely gonna reach back out to you to get the debate going because we gotta have that debate.
Like
I said, I love people who think outside the box, and it's fun to hear these different perspectives and do it. So get the people your final thoughts, man. What do you want to tell the people for your final thoughts today? Again, if you don't know, everything is linked in the description. We are talking to Mr. Avery Giavonni, Spirit of Detroit Podcast. It's all linked in the description. So if you can't find this channel, just simply click on my drop down thing that show all my thing, and you'll see it's linked to get to the channel. Give them your final thought.
Final thought, man. For more thought-provoking content like this, like, comment, subscribe. Luke G, myself, Avery Giavonni. Always look forward to love, happiness, and abundance. Always wishing that for my subscribers, and just keep walking in the energy of creativity and just keep moving forward in the best light. Like he said in the beginning, if you're having any issues with suicide, depression, whatever, all those issues, you need to reach out to somebody. Don't be afraid to talk. Don't be afraid to call and change your life today. If you're looking to start a YouTube channel, just start it. It's not going to be perfect at first, but I challenge you to do your first 100 videos. I challenge you to just move forward and put your foot to the pad. You're creative. You're inspired. Whatever. Just start and keep and never stop. So that's my final thought. Love y'all.
100%, man. Like I said, I thank you 1,000 times for coming on and rocking with me, man, for being a supporter of me and for, rocking with me. People who have followed me, they know I'm definitely outside the box. I'm definitely different and my thinking and my processing. And like I said, what usually sounds crazy usually happens. And so it's always crazy until it happens. But you know me, we never get to end the show unless it's on a high note. And I can't end the show without putting it on one of the highest notes you can possibly get. Today's positive quote surprisingly came from my mother. She said to me today, she said, "Son, it's raining outside. Isn't it a good day?" Mom, what the hell are you talking about? Is what I'm thinking. It's raining outside. Ain't it a good day? Now, what my mom wanted me to understand, what my mom wanted me to tell you was that even when it's raining, when the clouds are not at their brightest, they're not at their prettiest, and the storm is coming in, the day is not at lost. Many times we find ourselves in positions where we often think that the day is gone and it's lost because we didn't get to see the sun come out. But behind those clouds often lies the sun awaiting your return. And what the benefit of you understanding that part of it is that anytime you can find perspective in life, life is always beautiful. The day is always beautiful. The reason for getting up is always beautiful. The reason for spending time indoors with family, friends, loved ones, or anything in between, your dog, your cat, your goldfish, and for some people, even reptiles, is all more beautiful. You have to find a way to just move, because whatever you thought was going to be bad ain't as bad as you thought it was. It's going to rain outside. And if you're going to act like you enjoy rainbows, then you have to prepare for the rain. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, please hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell for Mr. Avery Giavonni, Spirit of Detroit podcast. And make sure you definitely do it for me as I do these field review podcast shows pretty much Monday through Friday at 5 p.m. unless my job gets me for overtime. God, I wish they stopped doing this overtime stuff. But if that happens, then obviously I'll try to move it back or I'll try to reschedule if it's not too late. Nonetheless, as always, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you take care of yourselves, take care of each other. And as always, don't be no chump. Please do your research. We are out.